Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. It's Saturday, January 15th, 2022. And there was an event that happened that just showed how powerful Earth is. And okay, it's right here. That right there is a satellite view of an explosion of an underwater volcano. Most people just think that here's that's photos of them. Just think that about the surface of this earth, but there was an underwater volcano explosion that just happened, and then some tsunami warnings that hit Tonga. We'll see. It made it to the west coast of the U.S. It was very light, fortunately, but most people don't know that under the water, under the ocean, there's a lot of activity. There's mountains. Actually, the longest mountain range on Earth is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's right there, mapped out underwater. And you're right, if you ask people, hey, what's longest mountain range? They'd start guessing, I don't know, the Rockies, the Andes, the Himalayas, and you'd be going, nope, 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 nope. And then you explain to them about the mid-Atlantic ridge. And there's a lot of interesting things that go on underwater. Like there's a lot of hydrothermal vents right here from National Geographic.
In 1977, the discovery of hydrothermal vents releasing hot, mineral-rich water at the bottom of the ocean changed our understanding of the world as we know it.
Yeah, look at that. So right here, National Geographic educates us a little bit on how these hydrothermal vents happen.
The structures came to be known as hydrothermal vents for the superheated water they emit. Hydro, meaning water, thermal, referring to temperature, and vent, indicating the release of matter. Along volcanically active areas such as the mid-ocean ridge, water seeps into the Earth's crust through cracks and fissures and becomes superheated by hot magma within the Earth's layers. As it boils up to be released on the ocean floor, the water picks up dissolved metals and minerals along its journey. And finally, the water exits the Earth's oceanic crust, creating vent structures. The characteristics of hydrothermal vents vary depending on the specific metals and minerals in the water they emit. Vents known as black smokers emit water that appears as a thick black cloud because it is rich with sulfur-bearing minerals.
Every day this goes
As the dissolved minerals and metals encounter the freezing ocean water, they solidify in layers, forming massive structures called chimneys. Lasers, spaced at about 10 centimeters apart, almost 4 inches, help scientists determine chimney size.
Okay, now here's that same video a little earlier of scientists actually discovering these vents.
The phenomenon continues to mesmerize scientists and ocean enthusiasts alike.
That's amazing. You get to do this sort of thing once in a lifetime.
Okay.
Once in a lifetime.
It's just brilliant. Brilliant.
This goes on every day, people.
The first
Here's NOAA, National Ocean Atmospheric something, I think. It has, something about the hydrothermal vents here. It's they're all different. This is yes, that source that it's not reliable. Wikipedia describing hydrothermal vents. No, do I look up celebrity information? Not really anywhere. But Wikipedia is good maybe for a general overview. And here's describing hydrothermal vents. But it's not just hydrothermal vents that goes on underwater. There's volcanoes that happen underwater, and it isn't just the one that just happened that's getting pressed right now today. But here, this is November 26, 2021. This person was flying home to New Zealand, and she saw some strange ocean slickness, and she emailed photos of them to scientists, and they realized that it was a raft of floating rock spewed from an underwater volcano. Yeah, and it produced the largest eruption of its kind ever recorded. They knew it was a large scale eruption, approximately equivalent to the biggest eruption we've seen on land in the 20th century, said volcanoologist Rebecca Carey. Yeah, she said, or I'm sorry, someone said, it was 1.5 times larger than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Yeah, yeah, and because it was underwater, because it didn't create a tsunami, that no one really ever heard of it. But these go on quite often, especially in the Pacific and the Ring of Fire, which has the most earthquakes and volcanoes around the planet. That's why it's called the Ring of Fire. It's Japan's on it in the West, and I mean Japan was and Hawaii was mostly created from volcano eruptions, and these go on every day. I mean, not major ones like just happened, but this is just part of everyday Earth's life. Here's a picture on ocean.si.edu that shows the lava, at the bottom of an ocean just spewing up. It's Earth in action. And the event that just happened, it's being reported everywhere on January 15th, 2022, created tsunami advisories for, a lot of places, including the U.S. Here we have some video of waves rushing up in Tonga. Now, I mean, we're really lucky here because the tsunami means, just running the beach, and it can still do a lot of damage, but a tsunami can also be a wall of water that just completely comes over all the buildings and collapses things. But this right here is video from Tonga, and there was construction done. Okay. And if we scroll up here a little bit further, there's people in Manhattan Beach, California. They're out in the ocean, and I don't know, they're hanging on, gripping onto their surfboards here. When you're in a tsunami, you don't feel it out in the ocean because it just rides across the water. And I mean, the water from a tsunami moves about as fast as a jetliner, but it's when it gets to the shore and the ocean depth just isn't there anymore, and the depth just keeps getting less and less and less, so the water racing across the ocean surface builds up on itself, and that's how it either rushes ashore like we just saw in Tonga, or can build a huge wave that can be 10, 20, 30, 100 feet high. But here's some photos. Here's the explosion from a satellite in the middle of the ocean, and then this is Santa Cruz, California. It got some ocean rushing up on its shores, not just a big huge tidal wave, but there's law enforcement out protecting people, and The water's rushing up into places it normally doesn't go. And one of these photos up here, that's the waves crashing. You can see that almost any day. See, a tsunami can be a big, huge wave right there because the water just builds up, and all the water on the top layer of the ocean that's rushing in, when it gets to shallower underground depth, it just builds up on top of each other, and it can create a huge wall of water. Now, that didn't happen this time, but it can happen, and these are all over the West Coast. And people don't even pay attention to them, not even when there's a tsunami warning out there actively right now. Right? I mean, people are stretching right here. Here's the tsunami sign. People, they just don't really pay attention. So this was just an event that happened today. Here's the explosion from. You can see it here, another satellite thermal image of it. And this is just Earth in action. And I know the other day we brought you that Brazilian rock face that just fell off, a whole huge face of the rock. And every day, Earth changes, even if it's underground and we don't see it. This volcano, it it's leaving ash underground. And so the mountain ranges that it came off of, just more land is forming at the bottom of the ocean. And every day this planet changes. And it's not every day that you see a big underwater volcano like this. But right now, for, I don't know, past 2 years or so, volcanic activity across the world has just been the most. I've read reports like more than it's been in a long time, because volcanoes are just going off everywhere in unprecedented amounts, even at the same time. So there's something going on out there. I live just outside of Yellowstone, and there's always talk about, not in the area, but generally, like if people see a herd of animals, running, or the land rises, I'll see it in headlines, and but the land always rises in Yellowstone, and it subsides, but that is based upon the lava underground, oozing up and then going back down, kind of, and the land elevation in Yellowstone and changes a lot, actually. And there's obviously a lot of geological and thermal activity going on there, but there's always talk about it's it is overdue to go off. And I always say that when the animals start running out of the park is when I'll start running thousands of miles away from here so that I can not be evaporated in a split second. But that is what'll happen when Yellowstone goes off. And we're lucky that there wasn't a lot of humans out here when this eruption happened, and we're very fortunate that the tsunamis weren't massive. I'm sure there's damage done a lot of places, but it wasn't just a huge wall of water that hit. But people, every day this goes on. Earth changes, and Earth is its own living entity. And yeah, I study this stuff just because I just love this little blue ball that floats around in space, or flat surface, flat Earth, who knows? I don't know. Just like I don't know if global warming's real or not. But one thing I know is real is the ocean garbage patch, and this earthquake that hit today is real. So Earth is always changing, people. It's its own living organism by itself, and it is an incredibly cool and interesting place. So stay tuned.